So Supergirl Season 3 just started, and as we welcome back the hero and her sidekicks, we also welcome back brand new adventures, trials, and enemies. And boy has the new enemy introduced itself properly. And no, it's not Sod or Rain or any common villain of the week. This villain is a problem that Supergirl has faced throughout its entire run so far, and from the first episode alone, this season is looking very dark indeed. The biggest threat and villain to Supergirl at the moment is viewers, or namely the lack of them. In fact, the season premiere had a drop of close to 40% from the season 2 premiere. We can defend this a little bit though, because in season 2 we were promised and got Superman, but if Superman is one of the biggest appeals to a show titled Supergirl, that's another issue in itself. Now, I don't really think Supergirl will be cancelled yet, as it's so tightly connected to the DC TV universe, but if it was a standalone series, they would be having problems for sure. But why is Supergirl losing viewers? Personally, I really liked this season's kickoff a lot, and there were plenty of moments that I really enjoyed. Ignoring the normal cheesiness of the show, which is forever present, and that's just something that you have to deal with and embrace in order to enjoy the show. But even if an episode has good moments, it doesn't help when the worst parts are the things people talk about a lot, especially in the comments on the internet. There was one big glaring issue with the first episode, and that is the politics, which Supergirl does not seem to know how to deal with. Looking at the comments on the internet in the aftermath of an episode, these days there are often two things that split the audience and make some people want to stop watching the show. We have the split in the fandom in regards to the Mon-El character, and the political split which affects both the Supergirl audience and the real world as a whole. Out of these two, I think that the political problem that Supergirl has is the biggest problem by far and is highly likely one of the biggest reasons to why Supergirl is losing viewers. But what are they doing wrong? Firstly, it is very important to mention that there is nothing wrong with being political, and being political in itself should not be a reason to lose viewers. It's how it's executed that is the problem, and that is what's ruining the show and ultimately making it lose fans. I'll give you an example with one of the scenes from episode 1.
Okay, Carl.
Does President Marsden believe climate change is real?
Yes. Yes, Carl. As a matter of fact, she does. She also believes that 2 + 2 = 4 and that the Earth is round because the president is not a moron. Any third grader knows that global warming is the biggest threat of our time, and I'm happy to report that the intellectual capacity of our president is not inferior to that of an 8-year-old. Next question.
Alright, so it's very obvious what they want to say, and at this point they might as well use names. Okay, so this scene is actually very pointless in the sense of the plot, and it seems like the only reason they put the scene in was so they could alienate a big part of your audience. This scene doesn't really bring anything to the table, and it does nothing for the plot. Supergirl is a CW show, alongside the likes of Arrow. Last year, Arrow did an episode on the very sensitive subject, which is gun control. The episode is titled Spectre of the Gun and is the 13th episode of the 5th season if you want to watch it. In addition to talking about the subject, it also made sense in terms of the plot. And more importantly, instead of being so obvious and taking a side like Supergirl does, the Arrow writers invited to debate and discussion by being real and legitimate by arguing for both sides. If you're getting political, don't alienate half of your audience, but invite to debate and discussion. I can't stress this enough. It's probably worth to mention here that not everyone agreed and thought Arrow should have taken one side, but I don't think that would be the right choice. Obviously, that's my opinion, but here's why I think so. The world isn't black and white. Sometimes it might be total white or total black, but usually it's somewhere in between. I think that it's important to have a level field when talking about such subjects, and when you try to look at both sides objectively, it leads to mutual respect, and that is how I believe that we can come closer to not fighting and flaming each other anymore. So, where Supergirl takes a very certain side, Arrow embraces all its viewers. Where Supergirl fails over and over again, Arrow succeeded. I probably don't need to tell you that the world is split enough as it is, and the writers of Supergirl are not helping. Supergirl wants to be a show about unity and strength, but at the same time the writers don't try to build a bridge to those who disagree with them, they just sewer it off completely. They don't try to argue for the views in a good way, they just make fun of the other side, which is not helping their case at all. We disagree, people have different political views, and that's just how democracy works. However, regardless of which president you want or whatever thoughts you might have, ask yourself this. Why would you want to tune into a show that only talks crap about your own political views without making solid arguments for them? The political problem with Supergirl is not necessarily the politics itself, but it's how it's handled on the show. Supergirl fails at inviting to discussion and debates, and only brings up relevant social issues from one perspective. The show's biggest villain is the loss of viewers, and how they deal with politics and real-life issues is one of the reasons why people give up on the show. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope I'll see you again in the future. We're probably going to be talking a lot about Supergirl this season. It's really exciting to see what's going to happen, and I really want to talk all about it with you guys. Have a great day, subscribe if you're new, leave a like if you like this video, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye!